Okay, so let's jump in on a price reduction role play. Give me the context.
Yeah. So you're an investor. You've renovated this house, uh, selling it. We got some loans, private money loans coming due in the next 60 days,
Good to know. That's
right?
called that's
That's
motivation.
called motivation.
That's
You
motivation.
got a balloon payment due
Yeah,
where you're gonna
yeah,
be paying a point a month on
yep,
carrying that.
yep.
Um, that's probably the most common one I've actually
Okay,
got right now.
yeah. Most important one sounds like.
hmm I got a
Okay,
couple. I mean, that's just
all
where
right.
like, um,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just so you guys know, Corey's been a disciple of mine for a couple of years now. So Playbook, some of these tools like think feel, how do you think feel questions root around risks or rewards. I like what if too, Corey. Like, well, what if, and then consequence, right? Or the option, which is, well, hey, we could stay where we're at, or we could do this, and then into consequence or reward, right? So because when we're talking about price reduction, it's a mindset that's here, and I need to open it up to here in regards to risks or rewards to be able to expand the mindset and challenge the beliefs, because I think it's going to be okay to wait a little bit longer when I have a hard money loan coming due, and there's uncertainty and economic conditions. I don't, there's a lot I don't like right now with what I'm seeing economically that put me at risk. I don't know about you in your market right now, but last 30 days in Austin's been a little bit slower than normal, which pisses me off because it's biting into the chunk of the April May season, which is the best part of the year for us. And I don't
Mhm.
know what's happening on the coast, Northeast. Are you still hot? New York, you guys still hot? Yeah, slowing down a little bit. Yeah, a little
Nassau
bit.
County still 30 days to get to absorption. So
Okay. So yeah, you're still pretty hot. Coasts are a little bit different. Vegas is experiencing a bigger slowdown. But okay, let's jump into it. Give me a call. You want to call me, right, Corey?
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Paul, hey, Corey King. Did I
Oh, hey,
catch you at
Corey.
a bad time?
No, we're good.
Right on, dude. Hey, just wanted to reach out, just part of our weekly update system, and I just wanted to go over just some of the things that we're really seeing in the market and just kind of going on with the property. You got a few
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. Awesome. So, hey, man, really, you've seen we've had the property now on the market for about 45 days. Really is, you're getting active showing updates. We're just not seeing the showing activity that we really like. I mean, in fact, on your property, Paul, we haven't had a showing in the last, 2 weeks or so. And
Yeah.
so,
How long have we been on the market?
yeah, about 45 days.
45 days. Okay. Yeah, when
Yeah.
was the last showing that we had?
Yeah, we had it. It was right about 11 days ago. In
Uh,
fact, it was like
okay.
right after the start of the month.
Okay.
And and so, Paul, it's really just at that point where, I know we've already done a price reduction. We came down from 299, we're now at 289.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really just interesting to see that even on that movement, Paul, we really didn't see much of an uptick in showing activity as well.
No.
Stayed
Yeah.
it really kind
Well,
of,
it's still, it's early. We're still early spring here, right?
we are still early in there, and yet, I mean, kind of one of my concerns there is just, we know fundamentally that days on market can be the enemy of a home's value. And so, what do you think other buyers are thinking right now when they see a home that's been on the market for 45 days?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure.
But do you think it's
You think they think there's something wrong with it?
Well, I think it's probably the most common, question that comes up. If we kind of remember maybe the last time you were buying a home and you saw something that always looked like a great house, but was just sitting there.
How
Uh,
many days on market's normal right now?
yeah, so I mean, right now, interestingly enough, like that particular zip code, Paul, we've watched that days on market jump up to the average is actually right around 60 days on market. So we are still below
Oh,
that
okay. Yeah.
average, right? The median though is a little bit lower than that. And really what I'm seeing, Paul, overall is really just since the biggest thing I've noticed the change just since November alone, the inventory in that particular zip code has tripled.
Hmm.
And so if buyers have, more options to choose from, then we've really just got more competition at the end of the day. And certainly with an increase in rates as well, the buyer pool has shrunk to a degree. And so what I'm seeing is, you know, 2, 3 sellers on average are competing for that same one buyer.
Mm.
And so I wanted just to really address things, you know, head on, is just that we're really not seeing the activity. And that's ultimately the biggest metric we can measure. We can look at views on Zillow or saves and shares, but like butts through the door, you know, tours is what's actually moving the needle. That's the most accurate data we can look at. And so by us not having that, my concern is that we're just completely missing our buyer at the end of the day. So I mean, I really propose that we get right down to that next price bracket, which is going to put us at, you know, $275,000.
Huh. Well, it's when did we how long ago was it that we adjusted the price?
Yeah, I know that was right about 2 weeks ago that we made that
2 weeks
jump. So we made
ago.
that drop. Then we had
Yeah.
we had the one showing right afterward, and then it's just
Yeah.
been hits since then.
So the only thing though, Corey, is that, I really am trying to squeeze as much money as I can out of this property. And with days on market hanging around 60 days, then, I'm still under that. I mean, maybe giving it till the end of the month.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, Paul. I mean, trust me, my goal too is to keep as much money in your pocket. My job here is to preserve your equity at the end of the day. And my concern is ultimately is if we let this property sit out longer and suddenly now we get to 60 days on market or beyond that, you know, what are buyers thinking at that point? We've already been on the market for 45 and haven't had any real activity or offers in hand. Uh, but I feel like it only harms you in pushing us out 2 more weeks.
Well, but if the average is 60 days, then I mean, aren't I still within the confines of what's typically happening?
Yeah, you are, and you know, I'm watching that average tick up month over month. So as we're monitoring that data, we're seeing that average days on market is continuing to climb. And so my fear is, even though we're looking at lagging data, in essence, like the ball may have actually moved further down, or the goalpost might have already been moved further down. So the average could be higher now, which means just homes are sitting longer and prices are continuing to shift down. So I
Hmm.
propose we just get ahead of it versus chase the market down. We move down to 275, open ourselves up to a new buyer pool, and we just really hold the line there.
To 275.
Mhm.
That's what you're saying? Down to 275. Hmm. Okay. Break script. Okay. How do you think you did?
Eh. Um,
You started strong,
yeah.
and then because I think so this is just confidence on what you know, which is okay, here's all this data that I need to provide to you. Okay. Now people hear less what you say and more how you feel. Are you amiable, Corey?
I can be, and my disc is
Analytic?
really interesting. High analytical.
High analytic, yeah, yeah. Because you're going, yeah, I could see it. It's a little bit slow. Not like your pace is a little bit slower. So I was unsure if it was analytic. So this is, I mean, let your analytic ride right now, man, and then make it all about the data. Now, if you're talking to a high S or a high I, yeah, of course you're gonna adjust the wording a little bit, but it's time to like get real with data and use data as a weapon. And you got to be wielding that weapon like all over the place, right? Because increase in inventory, the last showing, those are all pieces of data that I can use as a weapon, and you put them out, but you didn't wield them, right? Like, well, increasing inventory as a weapon against days on market. Well, yeah, because I see you gave me a piece of data that didn't work for you.
You're right.
60 days, right? I'm like, well, okay, so don't give me that data. Like, give me something else that works for you to be able to go, okay, because the matter of the fact is that days on market is obviously skewed by properties that don't sell and then adjust their price and then sell. So I know our MLS came up with a new, it's called I can't remember what it's called. I don't know if you guys have it, but it's this new aggregated, is this new data portion of the MLS, and I can see that when properties aren't priced right, when properties are priced right, they sell within 30. approximately 30 days, right? And this is what I tell people. But when properties aren't priced right and they make a price adjustment, they sell within 18 days.
Hmm.
Now, so maybe there's some data that you have there that you could figure out would be beneficial to you, because the matter of the fact is that 30 to 45 days, man, like it should be selling in 30 to 45. It's been 45 days. We're cooked right now already. Do you have a piece of data that you already know of, or would that be something that you'd have to go
Um,
find?
yeah, I mean, I certainly can look at how that translates to like the average versus the median, because I really
Because
think
I didn't hear the median number. Did
yeah,
you get the median?
yeah, no, I didn't actually.
You
No, I
didn't.
had
Yeah.
more average versus the median on there as
What's
well.
the median?
Median's going to be a little bit less than that average in terms of in that
Right.
specific.
So you should know that number exactly, right? Because you need that. You need to wield that. Because is there
Yeah,
something else there as far as other properties that have sold and gone under contract that I need to point to and go, look at this guy. This guy was on the market. He went under these two properties went under market while we were on the market. And then maybe there's something to compare in regards to they're better, they're worse, yada yada. But like, I need some sort of data to start swinging at them and using, because at the end of that, then the especially for a price reduction, like it should be, hey, I'm giving you this information for you so that you can make an informed decision, because I don't want to give them the fist, but I do want to go, man. Um, this is I want to make the data relevant to the point that if they don't do it, they are aware or feel that like this is I'm risking something here
sure. Like they're really choosing to go against what the
against logic or against risk. Like something should go. Listen, the thing is that and then whatever that increased inventory was, did you give me a number on that or what?
yeah, tripled.
It tripled. Well, you listen, days on market. So you screwed up and you said 60 days, right? So then come back and go, well, look, I know it's 60 days, but you know what really worries me, Paul? And he goes, what? Well, the fact that inventory's tripled. So that number actually is going to get worse. And the thing is that right now, I mean, do we have time on our side, or is time against us with that hard money loan coming up? Well, I mean,
With that.
I got a little bit of time. Well, yeah, I know you have a little bit of time, but the thing is that like time is our enemy right now. And
Sure.
so here's one other thing that you could have done a little bit better with. So number one, wield more data and like just swing that shit all over the place, right? Wield data. And then number two, make it seem like that if they don't do what you're doing, there's obviously going to be a risk, because the matter of fact is that there is. False or
Yeah,
true?
you're not wrong there too. Like by waiting 2 weeks, what that does is that puts you in a position to have to make at least one more hard money payment. So we look at that opportunity cost as like what's
Yeah.
that money costing you to borrow right now?
Yeah.
$3,000 a month, great. Like it's going to cost you an extra $6,000
Right.
just by waiting an extra 2 weeks. Versus if we
So
make a move today and get you under contract this weekend, we could typically be able to save you some money on that move.
okay, so here's the third thing. The third thing is that wield the data, make the final your closing statement, one in regards to risk, and that the decision to not do this is leading towards higher risk. And then number three is you say a lot of good things, now turn them into questions. Like you should be like machine gunning questions, man, at them, like just machine gunning all these things that you're saying with more and more questions to just keep leading me down this. I ask a question, you answer it. I ask a question, you answer it. Because you said some really good things that if they were just questions, uh, psychologically and maybe subconsciously, like I'm just following you. And now you've created this cadence of exchange where I'm like, I'm following. And then I ask another good question that leads to the direction I want to go based off of risk or reward. And then I'm already kind of psychologically kind of just, it's this cadence of leadership. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
That tracks.
Let's do it again.
Cool. Let's do it again.
Okay. So take all that, wrap it up. And
Cool.
when you're ready.
Yeah, yeah. Ring, ring, ring.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Corey King here. Did I catch you at a bad time?
Hey, Corey. No, now's a good time. Go ahead.
Awesome. Hey, just wanted to reach out here, just part of our update on the property right now. And Paul, I mean, we're really just seeing some some real shifts there in the market, and I want to just get ahead of things here.
Okay.
So, in that, Paul, I mean, we've been on the market now for about 45 days, and I know we've already we did a price reduction here right about like 2 weeks ago, going from 299 to 289. But it's been about 11 days since our last showing, and just, Paul, it concerns me a little bit that we might be still missing the mark because showings is still the biggest data set that we could really look at the end of the day when it's getting properties to move.
Yeah. What do you think the issue?
Yeah, I mean, so first off, I mean, the biggest feedback here that we're getting to is just price, that I think we're just still high. If we're really not
Hmm.
getting eyeballs on the property and people coming through, I would say that everything there is just pointing towards that we're off in price.
Hmm. How many showings the last? How
Yeah,
long?
so we haven't had anything in the last, it was 11 days ago that we had our last showing.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
now
45
here is
days.
where
Well,
at, now
it's
is where at.
still it's still early in the I mean, it's still April, right? I mean, the summer months is when it gets hot, right?
Well, historically speaking, yes, that's true. As far as we see a seasonal uptick in the market here around into the spring and summer. Really, Paul, one of my biggest concerns, though, is I've watched the inventory since we went on the market. The inventory has tripled, and some of these homes that we were maybe initially competing with have already sold. And so I think by us sitting here longer, ultimately what we found here is, days on market's the enemy of a home's value. And with us at 45 days on the market, and as I was looking here, the median days on market for that zip code is 15. We've got three
15.
times the inventory. We've got 3 times the inventory, and we've been on the market for 3 times longer than the median. And so, what do you think buyers are thinking when they see this property sitting out there like that?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe something's wrong with it.
Hmm.
Huh. So what are you saying then?
Well, so I mean, I'd really say that in order to really put this property in front of the next buyer set, that we bring that down into the next price point that buyers are searching, right? We know that people typically look, if you go on your realtor.coms or Zillows, people commonly price in $25,000 increments. Some of these things have built-in filters for that, and so I propose we get down here to $275,000. We make the move before we get to this weekend.
Okay, I'll take it. Break script. I don't know if I gave you enough pushback on that one,
All
but
right.
I wanted to hear you utilize more of that data. And dude, your confidence level way up. Way
That's
up.
the high analytical for sure. Like,
Yeah. So way up. So just make sure that so that was powerful too. Now, really, there really wasn't anywhere for me to go because you said 15 days. And I'm like, we're 45 days on the market. What do you think buyers think about that? Wham, slam, done. Like, well, I mean, why don't we just give it to the end of the month though, Corey? Like maybe we just give it to the end of, just to the end of April.
yeah, Paul, I hear what you're saying on there because we think we could still leave it out there and wait for maybe that person comes back in the next 2 weeks. But Paul, I mean, you've shared with me before that you've got a hard money loan on this thing that's due here in about 2 months. And if we wait an extra 2 weeks versus making the move now, it potentially puts you in a position to even have to make another payment or having that balloon actually come due. And so, I guess, how are you going to feel if suddenly we just wait and then we miss the mark, we miss the buyer, and then now we've got a loan that's going to come due?
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely hanging over my head for sure. Break script. Um, yeah, I would sit there and wait and let them answer too, um, and let them respond, because I want them to kind of sit in that. I really think there's some other piece of data you really need to go in there, like something else in regards to a property sold, something new to market, um, something pending, new pending, like some other piece of data that you point to and go, look at this right here. Because I had this conversation yesterday, but two properties in a row, so I got three price reductions this week, right? And two of them was hey, look at these properties that just went under market, went under contract. Two properties just went under contract, and they were both on the market less than 10 days.
Hmm.
I mean, listen, guys, the market's speaking right now. Like, what do you want to do? How long do you want to be on the market causing other properties to sell? What do you mean? Well, I mean, your price is causing people to go to other properties and make offers on those properties. I mean, that's not the plan, is it? Now, look, I'm a D, so I'm okay, like kind of, challenging people in a healthy, respectful, professional manner. But I mean, you could even say that to go, look, our price, unfortunately, from what I'm seeing, is causing people to make other offers on other properties. That's not what we want, is it? No. Okay, well, look, the inventory's tripled here. We got to get moving before everything moves past us. Before that hard money loan comes due. Like, let's not gamble with that. I mean, we're already on the edge right now. Let's go ahead and do the right thing and adjust to 275. Sound fair? Tie him down somewhere, and maybe not somewhere in there too, Corey. Just grab them and lead them right to the promised land, which is like, listen, this is what we got to do. Okay, all right, good. Like some sort of tie down and just move them. Yeah, with a little bit of love, or maybe with a little bit of positivity. Like, hey, you see this? You see how this? Okay, I mean, let's move to a price point that's going to start getting buyers through the door. Let's move to a price point that's going to tell us quickly that we're on the right track to get an offer here. I don't know. It's like something to. Good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You have 20 listings. 20 some odd listings right now. Like active.
Got about like 8 in escrow, but like those 20 are just staring at me. Like,
yeah, week after week. Like, what am I doing? What do I got to do here? Right.
It'd be nice to get some of this revenue through. You know what I mean? Like, it's well and good to like have, but I'm staring at a couple $100,000 in GCI. It's like, all right, like the should be nice to come through. I was hoping that was going to come through Q1. Thank God I'm doing a couple flips and making some other stuff happen there.
Yeah. So make a priority list on who you need to talk to, and then and this is going to take some time too on you digging in and go, okay, what data do I need here?
Yeah.
There's 20 odd listings. I mean, probably half of them you need to talk to or more. I don't know, but
yeah, some are in interesting markets where like I've got a couple of these like cabin listings and that whole Smoky Mountain Gatlinburg thing. Like, while it's the most visited national park in the US and has all these things going for it as a tourism market, they are strongly in a buyer's market out there to where I've watched that's jumped up to like 6 months is like the median out there. So some of those we're framing that conversation and expectations. And I'm like, hey, this is going to be a journey that unless you're ready for like a liquidation sale price, everything must go kind of option here.
Yeah.
You could be in this for 6 months, and that's totally normal.
Okay. Nice. Good. That was really good. I hope that was helpful.
It was. Yeah. It'll say at least gets me like freshened up, ready, because I do have like a little hit list after this of just like,
nice.
All right, go work on
He
this.
came in here.
Yeah.
Let me sharpen the sword here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of these are like, I've got 4 of them that are sitting in the same zip code. That's the one I was kind of pulling some of these stats from, and they're all like comparable in there. They're 289 to 350 price point, and that zip code has just seen a massive amount of change since November. It's wild, actually.
Cool. Good stuff. I appreciate you participating.
Totally.
All right. I have time for maybe one more role play if somebody wants it. Buyer, seller, prospecting, presenting, specific objections, specific personality type, one tiny little piece of a conversation, a scenario that you jacked up this last week that you're like, man, I wish I could take that back.
I'll go if it's open.
Floor is open, man.
Yeah, so I had a listing appointment last night. We signed, but usually we go for the yeah. We go usually for 6-month contract. They were kind of adamant they wanted something shorter, so this came off and expired. The agent that had the listing signed a 3-month contract, so they were hoping for another 3-month contract just in case I'm another chooch that can't sell their house. Um,
New York
So-
talk. I haven't forgot that
that's
one.
it. That's it.
Okay.
So yeah, so I kind of pushed them to try and do the 6th. I talked to El Jefe, Jason Prado, and
Mhm.
and we kind of agreed to 4. But I was kind of thinking maybe that might be something to talk about.
Okay. So, what's the average days on market for your market?
A little over 60.
60 days. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Winter Haven, Florida, Central Florida. Okay.
Yep.
I'd say remember 60 days on market account for all of those overpriced listings. So I'd confidently say that even in your market as well, 30 to 45 days, like your property should sell in 30 to 45 days. So it's a team standard that you guys take 6-month contracts. Is that correct?
Yeah, pretty normally.
And you guys took it at 4. Is that what you said?
Yeah, which is fine, and they're open
Okay.
to even reducing the price down the line if we have to.
So
They
they're
already
motivated. Yeah.
Yeah, and they even said like, as long as you guys are working for us and we see that you're working, like we'll sign for longer, but I don't want
Yeah.
to be tied to you if
Okay. So let's pick it up at the point where we're at the end of the presentation. And the only thing in my way is the term of the contract. And then you handle it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
So
so-
Mike, yeah, I don't want to be locked into a longer term contract, honestly. So, we just got done with a guy who couldn't do the job. So 6 months kind of makes me leery. I'd be okay with 90 days.
Yeah. Okay. 90 days. And I hear you. 90 days, right?
Yeah. Right. If we could do 90 days, I'm good to go.
And I can understand where you're coming from too, because you had this agent just before, you had him for 90 days, couldn't do anything for you. Not even one, open house, only one showing the whole time. No offers. I get that. I completely understand where you're coming from. That's where you're coming from, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So just some background. So right now in our market, it's average time on the market 60 days. You were already on the market for 90 days. We're reducing
Right.
the price 20,000 to 399, just under that 400,000 threshold, which is, I think that's really good. I think right now we're priced very well. I think it was a good price at 410, 420. Unfortunately, like your guy, and it, wasn't doing the marketing he should have, wasn't pushing it, and nobody saw it. I firmly believe we'll be able to sell it within 3 months.
Perfect.
But
Let's
it
do it
does
then.
take yeah. The only thing is it does take some investment on our part. Like once we sign this, we got to go order the pictures, order the sign to get up front. That's going to, need a couple weeks in. I just want to make sure we have the full amount of time to market your home and bring in all the people that we can. It might take only 60 days. It might take a
Yeah. Well,
little
if
bit
it's
more
60
than
days,
90
then
days.
that's which we should, it's 60-day median, average price daytime, then we should be fine. Right?
Yeah. I just, like I said, like the average time. Is 60.
Mike, you're out. You're out. You're out. You're out. Okay, look, ready?
Yeah.
Give me the objection.
Listen, I don't want to sign for more than 3 months. The last we had him for 3 months. He didn't do anything.
Yep.
Sat there
Mhm.
and watched nothing get done for 3 months.
Yep.
I
hear you.
don't want to be stuck for longer than that.
I don't want you to be stuck because the average days on market is you should be able to sell a lot faster than that for sure. I'm in agreement with you on that. And let me ask you, Mike, what's important about that not being under contract for 6 months? Like what else is happening there as far as why you think that's bad for you? Or
Well,
what are you
we
thinking
have
about that?
well, we got too many bills. We got our primary house. We're paying for this other
Yeah.
one that was an inheritance, taxes,
Yeah.
insurance. It's already been
Yep.
listed for 3 months. We
Yeah.
got to get this thing sold quickly. I don't want to be, I don't want to be talking 3 more months from now, 5
Yeah.
more months from now, and it's not sold.
Yeah, and you know what? Has everything that I showed you in regards to what we're going to do to sell the property give you confidence in regards to us doing different, being different, and getting you a result, what you want, and the time frame you want it? Have we clearly communicated that to you?
Yeah, I understand it. It makes sense.
Okay.
I just
So
know that. Oh,
Yeah, no, I understand. And so you trust us as far as hiring us. It's just not being committed for a 6-month time frame. And then as long as as long as you and I are on the same page with that, then we can move forward. Is that how you feel?
Yes.
Okay, so let me make this promise to you then, Mike. Like we plan on getting the property sold sooner than later. Quickly. We've already demonstrated to you what our plan was to make that happen. So you have my commitment that we're going to do everything humanely possible to do that. And I can give you two things. Okay, Mike, I'm going to give you two things. The first thing is that look, if you want to opt out of this contract at any time in the next after 90 days, you don't like what you're doing, then I'll write in the contract that you can opt out, and there won't be any repercussions to that. Now, look, the reason why, Mike, is that it's 6 months is that 6 month time frame. Like, what happens if the property falls out of escrow? We get a buyer, their financing goes bad, they get cold feet because of the inspection. 90 days just isn't enough. If it takes us 30 to 45 days to sell it, and then we got to go back to work again, well, then that's a whole nother story. Here's the bottom line. You can get out anytime you want after 90 days. We just got to be on the same page that we were able to get that time frame to sell the property, and we have enough time, God forbid something happens. Does that sound fair?
All right. Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay, break script. Now here's the thing. I don't know that that's your that wasn't that good, actually. It was okay, but here's my thing, and I'm not trying to throw a stone in the cart here for the Pareto group in Florida. Is that, look, man, if you can't sell most of the time, a property up in the mountains, in the Smoky Mountains, that takes 6 months to sell because it's a destination point. Okay, look, certain luxury properties over a certain price point, over 2 million for me. Yeah, let's go 6 months to a year. But honestly, like, $1 million properties where I'm at sell within 30 to 45 days if they're priced right. Like, they do. So I'll take 90-day contracts all day long. And if your thing is 6 months, then okay, then let's fight for 6 months. Because look, the matter of the fact is, even if you sell within 45 days, having a 6 month, even if the average property sells in 30 to 45 days, having a 6 month contract could make sense and be a good standard because of the reason that I just gave you. Now, would you give somebody an out after 90 days if things weren't working out? I don't know. That's something to talk about with Jason, right? Because I would, because if it's not working out, then it's not working out. Why am I holding on to this person? But if you aren't going to do that and you aren't going to have that standard, well, then look, you got to figure out, like, what are you going to say here with 6 months if you're going to hold the property or hold the contract for 6 months? The best thing I could think of in that scenario is, well, look, what happens if something goes wrong? Mike, what happens if we fall out of escrow and the buyer's financing, and obviously it has nothing to do with me, but like the buyer's financing goes bad, and then I need another, we need another 60 days, honestly, like 30 days to find a buyer. And how long does it take to close a property? 30 to 45 days. So let's say that's another 60 days. What happens if a buyer falls out of contract and we need another 60 days?
Yeah.
Well, push back, right? They go, well, that's, let's address it when we get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we could. Thanks, Mike. Thanks.
No, that's actually exactly what they did too. So they were like, we'll sign for longer, but we don't want to be tied to it.
Yeah, don't want to be tied to it. So would Jason say, well, if you want to cancel later, you can do that?
Yeah,
you should find out, because that wasn't a confident yet.
No, absolutely he would, because and just like I told him in the middle of it before I got on the phone with Jason and got the okay, we're not in the business to get bad reviews. We don't want to hold anybody hostage. I know other realtors do, and you're gonna get a bunch of nasty reviews.
Right.
So yeah, we're not going to hold anybody hostage. If we got to cancel the contract, we do.
So that could be the negotiation. Is like, look, here's the thing. I'd be willing to give you an option to opt out of the contract after 90 days. For some reason, something happens and the buyers fall through, or the market shifts a little bit, and we need more time, because obviously that could happen, couldn't it, Mike?
Yep. It could.
Okay, so I'll give you the option to opt out after 90 days if you're not happy, if you'd be willing to just make sure that we get that 6 months, because obviously anything can happen. And the whole reason that we have 6 month contracts is because stuff happens. So I'll be willing to give you that 90 days, is you know, to opt out after the 90 days, you know, no strings attached, no, you know, no cost. If you just be willing to give me those 6 months, because anything could happen with this market. Does that sound fair?
It sounds fair.
Okay, break script. Eh.
Yeah.
Eh.
I mean, the way they came back was more like, well, we'll sign 3 months, and in 3 months, as long as you're doing the work, we'll sign for another 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's
So
like, and that's pretty much what we agreed. You know, that was like, how's 4?
yeah. Yeah.
Sold.
So let me ask. So Mike, what would be the difference between you signing again in 3 months versus you already being you having the option out for 3 months? Like, isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. And can I tell you why that's important for me to do the 6 months?
Yeah, tell me.
Well, then I don't have to get you to sign paperwork all again. We have to go through this whole process again. I mean, if you don't like what's happening after 90 days, you're one way or another, you're not going to move forward. False or true?
True.
Okay, then look, just give me that freedom. I'll give you that option. Just give me that freedom. Let's sign the contract, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Now, yeah. Yeah.
That was good. I mean, and really, it's not like a huge deal. Like they agreed to the commission.
Yeah.
They agreed to the price. You know, we got a good price. So
Yeah.
like this is like small potatoes. You know, 4 months versus 6 months or 3 months.
Here's
But-
a challenge. Here's a challenge I want you guys to always be thinking about. We talked about this last time, is like, get rule number 1. Who remembers what rule number 1 is? Rebecca, you remember?
Was it ask good questions and ask them well? I might be totally wrong.
You're wrong. That's good though. That's who I am. Ask great questions.
My best.
Ask great questions, ask them well, listen carefully. That's my job. My job is to ask great questions, ask them well, listen carefully. But rule number 1 is get to know the people. So get to know the people is not just situation motivation. Rule number 1 is like, so tell me more about that. Tell me more about the 90 days. Like what's your, you know, what's important about that? What does that do for you? So what's your fear about that? So what makes you think that's a bad idea versus a good idea? So getting into what they think and what they feel is getting to know the people. Because sometimes you guys just ask a few questions, maybe to get clarity. Okay, so because you did that, Mike, on the role play, right? You were like, so you want the 90 days, and then you just clarified it, but you didn't go into like, well, what am I thinking about that? Like, what am I feeling about that? And then once you have an insight to who they are, then you may have leverage. You may have an opportunity. You may be able to touch something emotionally. You may be able to provide clarity and logic. I don't know. Stay in the conversation on situation and motivation. Get to know the people deeper. What's making you think that? Challenge beliefs in a constructive and progressive and positive manner. Challenge beliefs to stay where they are, not to challenge them, to understand them. Get to know the people. Like, what makes you think that, Corey? Like, what? So, okay, well, what's important about that time frame? So, what makes you think that what makes you think that couldn't be a bad idea? That's a good question. What makes you think that wouldn't be a bad idea? What makes you think that wouldn't be a bad idea? What makes you think that could be a bad idea? Well, what would make you think that maybe that could be a bad idea? I don't know. I'm like tossing around here, right? Okay. You guys have a good week. Appreciate you. See you next week.
Thank you.